So, as you can clearly see, I'm a Manchester United fan, supporting Manchester United, but also I love the Champions League, even though Manchester United hajakuwa hapo kwa Champions League sana, and we have very good games zinakuja in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Very tantalizing games that we are looking forward to. One of those games is Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. Now, I don't really like Arsenal, but I've said here that mimi nataka wachukue ligi. I've given my reasons. It's because I don't want Liverpool or Man City to win the league. That is reason enough. That is reason enough as a fan. That's what I want. Now in the Champions League, like ukiangalia history, Bayern imekuwa ikichapa Arsenal vibaya sana. Kuna ma 8 sijui ma 8-2, kuna like very embarrassing scorelines zenye Arsenal wamesuffer at the hands of Bayern Munich. You know, even when hiyo draw ilitolewa, Thomas Muller alisema wacha wapatane na Arsenal because wameozoea sana. But I think this time round it's going to be a different story. And I believe that Arsenal start na set nataka wachukue Champions League, hiyo staki. But I believe that this time round wanaweza chapa Bayern Munich. So inaweza kuwa time yao ya kurevenge hizo mabao walikuwa wanapiga huko ile time ya Arsene Wenger. And ukiangalia Bayern hii season, Bayern for the first time in 11 years, Bayern are not going to win the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen ya Xabi Alonso imecheza poa. They've not even lost a game. They're leading and they're a few games away from clinching the title. Actually, one game away from clinching the title. So for the first time in 11 years, the Bundesliga itachukuliwa by another team other than Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern Munich ukiangalia season wamebreak records kadhaa. Wamechapwa na Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have won at Bayern for the first time, you stadium yao for the first time I think in 10 years. So ukiangalia hizi vitu zote, the management ya Bayern Munich, Thomas Tuchel is leaving at the end of the season. Already washasema they're letting him go. He's going. Thomas Tuchel himself has fallen out with players like Kimmich, because alisema Kimmich you cannot play in the midfield. So he's fallen out with those types of players. The likes of Alphonso Davies have refused to sign a new contract, wanaenda. So hiyo timu yote ni kama inaanza kusambaratika. I would say that Bayern is coming to the end of an era, because the types of players wamekuwa nao, Lewandowski, of course Lewandowski left, but these players that they have, it seems that wamefika the latter stages of their careers. And because Bayern have always been there dominating the Bundesliga, perhaps I would say that maybe the drive to go on and win imeanza kufifia. They've had problems in the huko juu. They've changed, the directors of football and whatnot. And I believe all that inachangia pia wow the way they're performing on the field. Ukiangalia on this other side, Arsenal, what Edu has been able to do with the transfer policy wako nayo. They've been able to bring in very good players, the likes of Declan Rice, like they have a very good team and a very good transfer policy, and they've stuck with Mikel Arteta. So Arsenal wanakaa ni kama for the first time in a very very long time, they're even in the challenging for the title. So as a Manchester United fan, ni mimi kuna kauli fulani nasikia, but pia as a football fan, you're able to appreciate, looking at them, you're able to appreciate that this is a team that is well run, a manager that knows what he wants, the types of players he wants. And then you look on the other side at Bayern Munich, is a team that seems to be in disarray. Players wameweza kuzeeka. The like, ukiangalia, if I would say, if two bulls were fighting, like Bayern Munich would be like a bull that has been dominating is nearing the end because imezeeka. And then Arsenal is a young bull imekam like ndio inakam sasa to the fore to play now with other big boys. Now sitaki nisifu Arsenal sana because sitaki nikashifie baadaye, but this game I believe that given the run of games that Bayern have had, the lack of confidence yenye players wanakuwa nayo, that Bayern might not, of the two legs, Bayern might not really prevail. Arsenal might prevail. But also, let's remember this. There's experience there. Experience counts for something. Bayern Munich, You could argue that because they know that they cannot win in the league, ishaenda, they cannot win their cup, the Deutsche Pokal Cup, ishaenda. The only thing that they have is the Champions League that they can fight for. And given the history that they have with Arsenal, maybe they could be going into this game with a lot of with a lot of ambition, because wanasema watu na watu tumeoa. Again, their main striker huko ni Harry Kane. Harry Kane was a Spurs player. And you know the rivalry that Spurs had with Arsenal. So anza kuja na Harry Kane pia ameoa Arsenal, amefunga mabao kadhaa. So that's also another thing, that's also another aspect ya hiyo game tunafaa kufikiria. They're coming to that team. Ukiangalia Arsenal are very young player. When they played Porto, that second game yenye they scored 1-0, alafu game ikaenda extra time, mpaka ikaenda penalties. You could see that Arsenal lack something when it comes to managing those games. It's not only about having players on the pitch. It's about managing, and Bayern have those old players. No, they know how to manage those games. Na timu iko na youngsters sana kama Arsenal, perhaps they may not have that it factor when it comes to managing the games. When I talk about managing the games, remember when Spurs ilienda Champions League a few years ago, alafu they were leading against was it Juventus, if I'm not wrong. Alafu Juve walikuwa na lead, alafu all of a sudden Juventus wakachange your game. So when it comes to the Champions League, it's a very tricky affair hapo. You have to be very consistent, you have to be very key. And when you have young players might not have that concentration. Now, with that said, I believe Arteta will prepare his players well. I believe Thomas Tuchel, even though he seems to be an inept manager at the moment, he'll prepare his troops. We are in for a wonderful game. Let's see how that game plays out. Um, let's see how the other game, Real Madrid versus Man City, play out. Alafu tuone between those four teams, which two teams will meet in the semi-finals. It's a very interesting ties zenye ziko hapo. Even though Manchester United are not there, we as football fans, because despite the team to support, we still support the game, and we still love watching those types of games. So I'm really looking forward to this game, Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. You tell me what you think. Do you think Arsenal will get their revenge against Bayern, or do you think Bayern's experience will prevail? So, niambie what you think.